Do you ever see a successful woman on your feed or in a magazine and think, wow, it must be nice to have it so easy? Well, think again. Behind that glossy cover or smiling face is a ton of hard work, countless failures, and endless learning experiences. I'm Rebecca Minkoff, and I'm here to tell you that success isn't a walk in the park. It takes grit, resilience, and a willingness to take risks. That's why I created Superwoman, a podcast that peels back the varnish and gets into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to make it as a woman in today's world. From luminaries and game changers to women you've never heard of but should, this podcast is here to inspire you to take your next leap, no matter how daunting it may seem. We'll explore the sacrifices these women have made, the highs and lows they've experienced, and the lessons they've learned along the way. So if you're ready to be inspired and learn from some of the most successful women out there, join me on Superwoman. Together, we'll uncover the stories behind the successes and prove that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of luck, anything is possible. Hey everyone, you're listening to Superwoman. Today's guest is Danielle Gronich and Kayleigh Christina, the co-founders of Clearstem. Danielle is a licensed clinical esthetician and the founder of the San Diego Acne Clinic, where she channeled her own 10-year experience with cystic acne to empower others to heal their skin from within. She has worked with thousands of patients, achieving a 98% success rate. They connected over their mutual passion for holistic health, and they dove into this research together to discover the nasty truth about acne and aging. And so many products contain disgusting, toxic, hormone-disrupting ingredients, and it was their goal to come out with Clearstem, the first toxic-free brand that targets both acne and aging at the same time. Take a listen. Danielle and Kayleigh, thank you for being on today, and welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to chat all things your founder story, adult acne. I covered mine today, but it's there. I'm getting the beautiful chin beard.
You know, everybody gets it at some point in their life. And I think it's important to just remind everyone of that. And it's not abnormal.
Well, thank God. So I'd love to dive into how you guys met and what was sort of the inspiration for your company.
Yeah. So Kayleigh and I both struggled with our skin. And back in my educational years, I studied biology, genetics, and immunology, but I was still struggling with my skin at like grade 4, like horrible level for like my entire 20s. So in the course of my 20s, I did 3 separate rounds of Accutane and it still came right back. So I just became obsessed. I was like, clearly Western medicine cannot figure this out for me. So I will go back to school to get the information that I need as it pertains to the skin. And while I had to go to beauty school at night to get my esthetician license. And while I was there, I was like, okay, treating acne is like the medical profession I had always wanted, but didn't know existed. And I left the corporate world and started my first business, which is San Diego Acne Clinic, and met Kayleigh here as one of my patients in my first year.
Rebecca, I relate so much to you because I didn't struggle with acne a ton as a teenager. Here and there, I was put on harsh creams, but it was never aggressive enough that I got prescribed Accutane or anything else. And I went through college. It's like the occasional breakout here and there, but again, never struggled hardcore until I hit my mid-20s. In my adult life, it came completely out of the blue. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm past 18. This shouldn't be happening anymore. Like, what is wrong with me? And I think we do that a lot. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Which is the complete opposite because we're really just not given the correct information. So my initial reaction was to go to my primary care doctor, and I just kept getting pushed to go back on birth control, back on multiple rounds of antibiotics. I didn't feel right doing that. I had already gone back to school to study holistic nutrition and was really focused on getting to the root cause of things. And so when I saw my acne, I'm like, something is causing this, something is wrong with my body. And my acne got so bad. It was bright red, inflamed, aggressive on both sides of my cheek, down my neck. If anyone wants to see a picture of how aggressive it actually got, it's pinned to both the top of our Clearstem page, but also my personal page, Kayleigh.Christina, and you can see like what it looked like. And just months after months, it was getting worse and worse. And then I went to the dermatologist, and dermatologist was like, well, you have to go on Accutane. This is so aggressive. And I did a lot of research on Accutane. Like, I don't feel good about putting this in my body. Like, I know I can figure this out. Months go by. I'm trying everything, single protocol. I love marketing as a whole, which is hence my role in Clearstem. But I love marketing. I listened to all of it at the time. And so I was buying every single product that said it could help with my acne, just kept getting worse. I went through like the harshest of acids to going a super, super clean route. Again, just kept getting worse over time. One last Google search, I found San Diego Acne Clinic. I happened to be Danielle's last client of the day, and my whole world was flipped upside down as to what the actual root causes of acne are that we're not taught. And so when we got together and Danielle was already formulating, which we'll talk about, but already formulating one of our star products, which is our Cell Renew Serum now. She was already formulating this. At the time, I had a blog and podcast, and it was such a meeting of the minds between the two of us. Danielle's master formulation brain and really understanding the science of skin and root causes of acne. And then my brain was like, more people, we can help so many people. Like no one knows about this, and understanding the scalability of it. And so it was truly a match made in heaven with us. We bonded so quickly, and we're like, we can help so many people with both the blend of education and products that actually work and are doing well for the skin, but also communicating it in a very systematic approach, because many people are confused to where to even start with skincare. And that's really where Clearstem was originally born.
Wow. So I would love for you to talk me through, you launch it. What, you've obviously each had your own businesses, but what was it like coming together as founders and then launching something new? And what was the immediate reaction? Did you fall on your face? And how have you sort of navigated your growth within the industry?
Love that question. So it actually was just very organic, and it was very like brick by brick. So I was seeing up to like 10 to 12 patients a day, like San Diego Acne Clinic. You can imagine how good the SEO was, and my protocol was fire. So people were getting so clear, and I didn't have to do any marketing. I didn't even have an Instagram, because the results are the advertisement, right? So I was just flooded with as many clients as I could possibly take. And while I was formulating that first product, it's now our Cell Renew Serum, and I was just designing it to use in treatment and for my clinic patients, because I treat every different type of skin. And if you have a darker Fitzpatrick, meaning you're darker skinned or able to tan very dark, you scar very easily, and we can't really do the aggressive treatments on you. So that means we have to heal the scars in different ways. Right. Yeah. Like if I were to do a really harsh chemical peel on Kayleigh, great. She peels for 5 days. She's brand new at the end of the week, and it's all good. I can't do that on someone with Indian skin or Filipina skin, or, any Asian skin really. So, and that's most people. So I was like, okay, we got to heal the scars a different way. So I made this formula. I knew what it needed to be just because of my biology background and just kind of an intuition for ingredients. I found a lab that would take us on. We would get lab samples back. That's the process. You give them this like police sketch of a product that you want to make and a couple of benchmarks, and then they send you back revisions and samples. You I'm sure have this with all of your designs as well. Yeah, exactly. It's so much fun. It's like Christmas every time. So I would get those, and I would give them to some patients. I'd always save them for Kayleigh, because I knew she was compliant. I knew she would like listen, and she was so good about documenting everything. So that became a hit internally. And then one of my other clients was an Amazon guy. He put it on Amazon, and it blew up. And we knew we had something. So Kayleigh and I started working just like part-time together on it whenever we could. She started introducing it on social. She built our social. And then with her blog, actually, she was getting the word out. And then we already had enough money to reinvest. We had really, really good margins. And so we were able to just reinvest. Like I didn't take any paycheck for 3 years, and just like kept putting money in just so we could buy more inventory and keep scaling. So there was never like a fall flat on your face moment. There were a lot of things that come with production of a physical product that when you have no experience like we did kind of everything the hard way. Like when we decided like, okay, this actually needs to become a skincare line. No one's going to get clear from just one product. So then we're like, okay, we need to make a scrub, which is really important, and a couple other products. Well, the manufacturer, the co-man that we used for the scrub didn't fill it all the way. So we got like 2,000 units of a scrub that looked like it was 3/4 full. It looked like it was only 3/4 full. You can't sell that on Amazon. You can't do anything with that. We had to manually take off everything and fill it ourselves. Meanwhile,
in Danielle's apartment, like
Kayleigh has PTSD from that moment for sure.
It was so funny. Like I think one of my favorite things about Danielle and I's relationship and like partnership with this is you just have to laugh at things, and we both just laugh and we pivot and we figure it out together. Like they delivered this huge vat. It was like 4 feet tall, a huge, one of those blue drums to Danielle's apartment. And then we had all of the bottles shipped back to us, and we're like,
no, they sent them to your apartment. Remember?
Oh yeah,
you were downtown.
Yes, literally downtown, like shipping a pallet. It was like so chaotic, but it's just, we had to laugh at it. And I think one of the blessings of us growing quietly and just staying so focused on our vision and our mission that like we're here to help people solve their acne versus we want to grow this massive company and sell for $1 billion and we want all the features in Forbes and all of that. I think because like we were so dialed on our mission vision, we would just like, when things would go wrong, we're just like, oh my, like what did we get ourselves into? Like we would just laugh about it. And obviously it was like a little stressful, but laughing cures a lot in stressful situations. And just like, this is part of the journey. Like this is what we signed up for and we're going to figure it out together. Yeah. And there's no one else to figure it out for us right now. So it's really like that mentality.
Some of those nights were some of my favorite memories of Clearstem. Like I remember when we were filling the fucking scrubs, pardon my French. I called my little sister and I'm like, you're helping us, get over here. And we cranked a bunch of music. I think we had some like wine coolers or something. Yeah. I don't know. We like made it a girls' night and it was actually super fun.
You know, it's funny. It's like, if I go back and I look at some of our most stressful times, like they looking in it, it's like terrible, but you learn so much that it's invaluable. And sometimes it can be really fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to, because building a business is always going to be chaotic and you can choose to see it as so stressful, or you can just be like, this is what we signed up for, like an exciting, crazy life that you can't predict at all times.
And did you always have that viewpoint? Because, you know, dealing with Female Founder Collective, all my founders, like it's the same thing. It's, oh my God, I had no idea. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh my, like, and I think it's like, well, why did we think otherwise? Right? Who tricked us? It's not like in kindergarten, they said, start your own business. It's going to be easy. But we all get shocked when it's not easy. So do you feel like either of you have had that approach just came naturally to you, or?
I think that's like why Danielle and I bonded so quickly.
Okay.
Because we're cut from the same cloth. And we didn't come together and we're like, hey, let's build a business right now together. To what Danielle said, it happened so organically and naturally. And I think when we had that first meeting, like last client of the day, we had 3 hours together. And we were just, like, every single time I would see her after that as her patient, usually you're like laying for a facial, quiet, relaxing. We are chit-chatting for like an hour and a half straight, week after week after week, as she was healing my cystic acne. And I think that's just how our personalities are. And that flowed into the business.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what you're talking about is just really like grit. And it's just like a will not be stopped kind of energy. And it's almost like you just won't be stopped. Like, okay, this is the problem, solve it, on to the next thing. Like, this is what it takes.
Yeah, for sure. So talk me through how you guys work together as working together. And when it does get stressful, yes, I know about the laughing moments, but how do you sort of navigate the relationship of co-founders?
You want to take this one or should I?
Sure, I'll take it. So we have an executive coach. His name is Etienne. And I would say a few years ago, there was some growing tension with Danielle and I, because it was lack of communication. Like we weren't understanding. The risks were getting higher. I was about to move up to LA, so we weren't going to be together every single day anymore. And we were struggling how to hear and talk to each other. And we could feel that. And Danielle's in an amazing group called EO. And this amazing man, Etienne, came recommended to us as our executive coach. And we learned our styles of communication and what we both how we receive things, how we speak to the other person, what our biggest triggers are, fears are, hopes are, dreams are, everything in between. And it stripped it all down. So we probably know each other better than like anyone else in this world at this point. And so of course there's tension, things that come up. Of course there's like stories that are created, hearing things are said in different tones. Like we're humans, that's natural. We now just know how to clean it up faster. And that's what he taught us. He taught us how to have cleanup conversations and how to not let things build and build resentment and create stories. And we just address it. And we just say how we're feeling and we address it right away. And that has been transformative to our relationship.
Wow.
As co-founders.
So take me through, you probably have a lot of women. I know before we started recording, Danielle, you mentioned, women of a certain age are your demo. What hope can you offer to people who are just like, fuck? So I'm a picker. So anytime I have something, I'm like, oh, here we go. And I make holes and it's not fun. So like, maybe why does it happen and what can we do about it? Because it is a problem.
Yes. Love this question. So why does the skin freak out? I mean, and we're talking specifically about like adult acne, especially in women. So women break out more than men because of our hormonal fluctuations and because we're using a lot more products. Every product you put on your face is another chance to create like an acne cycle, essentially. Like we've got makeup, we've got primer, we've got sunscreen, we've got moisturizer, we've got serums. Like that's a lot of stuff. And most companies, the real issue is that most of these cosmetic companies use the same pore clogging filler agents as the base of their products. And there are ingredients that you would never know to look for, like ethyl hexyl palmitate or isopropyl myristate or glycerol stearate SE. That's the stuff you look at the ingredient deck and you're like, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I don't know what that is, but you're instead marketed, trained by the marketers to, just look at the key active ingredient and think that that is what you're putting on your skin. And it's really the filler agents that cause all these problems. So, and when I say most companies use them, I'm talking like over 95% of products contain these bad ingredients.
Even clean beauty brands?
Especially clean beauty, because clean, and I love that you just asked that, clean is actually not the same at all as acne safe. Clean just means it doesn't have any of the toxins or hormone disruptors, but it can still have things like algae, avocado oil, coconut oil, shea butter. Those are all the natural ingredients, the clean ingredients that they're toxicity wise, they're fine, but they're still thicker than our natural oil. That's what bothers our skin. So it's not about necessarily for acne. It's not always about like toxic ingredients. It's about physically, are they thicker than our own oil? So that's how we need to think about those things differently. So that's why it happens for most people. There's something in their routine that is clogging them up. But kind of like what you were talking about, how it's like under your jaw and it kind of changed after wet baby number 2. Women go through so many hormonal shifts in their life cycle. We get one every month and then, you have a kid and, any sort of life event, like our hormones just get really impacted. So certain things that can pop up are just, hormonal changes from being pregnant. Sometimes breastfeeding can either make someone's skin kind of really unhappy or make it really happy. I've seen it go both ways. Sometimes when people get pregnant with a boy, their acne can flare, whereas with a girl, it doesn't. Sometimes it's the opposite. It really just depends, but there will be this feeling that something has changed. When that happens, you want to look at the starting point. Like, what are we eating? What's our stress level? What are we using? So there's certain foods that contribute specifically to hormonal acne, and that's dairy. Even if it's raw dairy. Raw dairy is better than not raw, but dairy, everyone loves cheese. Yeah. So, and that'll mainly get you around your mouth, like around your chin area. So that's even the quote healthy things like Greek yogurt. You might just need to switch to a non-dairy yogurt and a different source of protein. If your skin is freaking out, eliminating dairy is going to be eliminating a huge variable. Another thing that's shocking for people is eggs.
Wow.
Yeah. Egg whites specifically they're a protein called albumin, and it's notoriously hard for our bodies to digest. And then that clogs up our lymphatic system. So if you're seeing weird acne, like under your jaw and like on your neck, or in your jawline, that can be from eggs. So if you're having eggs more than like once a week, that's definitely contributing to it. And then there's other things like vitamins. We're taking way too many supplements without knowing the right dosages. And a lot of the time we're doubling up on things like vitamin B12 is a huge one that a lot of women get recommended because it gives you energy. But there's an obscene amount of B12 in all these products. We've seen supplements. Kay, like what was the one we saw? It was like 120,000% RDV.
Oh my, yeah. It's all of these ones to help you focus too. They all have crazy amounts of B12. And then a big one that at least our demo is mainly women between the ages of 24 and 36. They're all drinking Celsius. And Celsius has what?
Celsius has 1,000% B12 and 1,000% biotin, which
that was it.
Yeah.
I broke it down the other
trigger.
day on stories because I was like, I started to do this series on stories where I was showing like actually the back of products that are adding all of these vitamins and that you don't
but
really.
no one even knows what that means. Like I can't even tell you what I know what it means when it's like 1,000% of your daily value.
Like, what?
According to who, right?
Yeah,
totally.
According to the FDA, which their stuff.
Because you're right. Like according to whose blood work, not my blood work. Like, do I even need 100%? You're right. Yeah. And that's where it becomes an issue because it's like the FDA is what they determine as RDV. But if you were to get blood work done, you do have your own individual RDV. Right. So it's like, whose is that? Whose is that on the back of the bottle? It's not mine.
Not the government-sponsored agency that wants us sick. So.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
So as a busy person, when I see these assholes and their 100-step routine, I'm like, you don't have kids or you don't like your kids because I don't have time. I have time for like 2 steps max.
Well, you said you had a 12-year-old. Now's the perfect age to train them to give mommy a face massage and apply her serums for her.
Perfect. Maybe my daughter will do that. I don't think my son will. But so how many like Kayleigh behind you, I see a lot.
Yes.
What is this? Tell me about the system.
So yeah, we have our core 4, but then we have all of our upgrades and then all the ones you want to reach for when you want to make certain shifts and changes for your skin. Okay. So we do have a core 4, which actually almost in order. Our vitamin scrub behind me, which is the green one, our yellow one right there, which is Clarity, and then Cell Renew, blue one over here, and the one I don't have. Oh wait, no, I do right there. The purple one, which is our Hydro Glow. So again, a scrub, physical scrub, a chemical exfoliant, a more one that's focused on healing the skin, like really giving your skin proper nutrition, which is the Cell Renew, and then the hydration and moisturization, which is our Hydroglow moisturizer. So really those are the core 4. And then when you want to add in the upgrades, and we of course have our SPF, we have our favorite no Botox serum, which is our bounce back. But the system is really starting with the 4 because exactly what you said, we do not want to overwhelm people. We want them to have, like, they've already been overwhelmed. They've already been to the dermatologist and getting all the lasers and the facials and trying every skincare imaginable, spending so much money, time, and energy, and they're exhausted by the time they usually find us. They're like, I've been burned by everyone. I don't want a 12-step routine and I don't have time. So really we create a system that started with the core 4 to create the most amount of change in the skin, which is why Danielle formulates all of our products to be multifunctional. They all have so many different benefits and uses for the skin for that exact purpose.
Yeah. And it's, we're speaking to a very specific audience with this. And it's like, you're not just acne prone, you also want anti-aging. And that's where the big problem is that we stepped in to solve, because anti-acne products are harsh, toxic, they dry your skin, they annihilate your skin barrier, and that actually makes you age faster. If you're using things like benzoyl peroxide regularly, or even Retin-A, and I know a lot of people are, there's a lot of controversy on Retin-A, but if you're using things that are that drying all the time, you're going to get UV damage faster. And that's what ultimately ages you. So it's like, okay, that's the traditional acne products. They're horrible to use and they make you age faster. But then all the anti-aging products break people out because of the fillers that they all use. So we stepped in and we were like, we know how to formulate, we know what works. And we made products that are like equally effective for acne and aging at the same time. For example, our chemical exfoliant is called Clarity. It's nicknamed the blackhead dissolver, but it's a specific blend of alpha hydroxy acid. It's mandelic and a little bit of lactic with turmeric and vitamin C. So it's unclogging your pores while it's stimulating collagen, calming the skin, and delivering vitamin C. So like that's how the formulation style is addressing all of the concerns and being multifunctional.
Wow. So talk to me about this. You mentioned you didn't necessarily come together to build some big company and sell it for $1 billion. I'm curious, with your success in the industry, have your goals changed, or are you just like, we're here to stay, we're here to own our destiny? And, like, where do you sit on that?
It depends on the day.
I'm like, which direction should we go with this one?
Like yesterday, I've got 2 years left and that's it. Today, I'm just like, maybe 3.5.
We are at such a beautiful inflection point right now where we're making some pretty amazing big decisions for the company to grow. Like again, our mission and our goal of helping the most amount of people solve acne is forever our goal. And how we do that and how we build our team, we're bringing on more support for our team to do that in such a beautiful way. So as far as the growth and the exit, like, again, we are at the point where we truly have those conversations every single day. Yeah. And we're learning, we're having all the conversations, we're seeing what those different roadmaps look like. Yeah. And Danielle and I really prioritize our peace and our happiness and enjoying what we're doing.
How did you get there? Because so many people can't. And I'm sure they're all probably like, how is that even possible?
I mean, I think it looks different for everyone. Kayleigh and I, first to admit, we don't have kids. That takes a lot out of the equation. It just does. I have so much respect for moms, like mad respect. I chose to not have kids because I understand fully how much work it is. Like there's no rest in the mind of a mom. And I'm someone who's already spinning 24/7. And I'm just like, I know that that's not for me. But if I had kids and was trying to do this, I would have absolutely no health. I wouldn't talk to my family. My friendships would suffer. So first of all, that makes a huge difference. The other parts are having our coach, having just like the foundation of like emotional intelligence and having that calm in the company is really key, because just like any culture of a company or any relationship, there can just be like an overall state of tension that creeps in. And that's just, that wears on you over time. Even if it's not bad, it would wear on you. Like there was a point where we didn't have good processes for our key employees, and it felt like we were just emotionally enmeshed in them and some drama and it was just like, that was exhausting too. So we had to get better boundaries with that. Yeah. I see, what we're talking about. So it really just comes down to, yeah. So, I think just making the focused decision to solve all of the emotional creep that happens.
Yeah.
As far as it goes for taxing your energy.
I'm thinking a lot about what you asked too, Rebecca, and what Danielle said, because I never want it to come across like, oh, we're so peaceful and we're so happy and everything goes so great all the time.
It doesn't come across that way, but it's just refreshing to hear that you are letting yourselves enjoy it. Like it's taken me, how many years, 20 years to get to that point where I'm like, if I don't send the email, it's fine. I'll send it tomorrow. I got to go do whatever with my kids or, just going and getting a massage. When I was pregnant for the first time with this last baby, I was like, every week I'm getting a massage and I'm going to acupuncture.
Yes.
And I was like, fuck, it took the fourth kid to like put in these things that felt so luxurious. But it was like, no, that was my sanity, Yeah. So it's refreshing to hear that.
Good. I'm glad.
And that now.
And for women founders that are listening to this, I just want to make note of something Danielle said that I think is so important that I just want to reiterate is it's because of things that we've noted that we didn't like. Again, getting so emotionally enmeshed and having different things spiral and having emotions and certain employees come up and all of that. We realized that, and then we realized we could change it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is it's like we prioritize the peace, the massages, acupuncture, same for us, because like when we start to realize something is not going in that direction, we're like, but we can change this. We have our executive coach. We have an amazing COO that like really helps manage up everyone. He's incredible. And it's just, we see those things and Danielle's the first one to be like, this is a problem. We need to fix it. And she doesn't wait and she doesn't delay. And she's like, we need to fix this now. And it's the most beautiful leadership you've ever seen because she doesn't wait. She sees it. We got to handle this.
Right.
And there's doesn't allow room for tension to build. And that's how we create our peace and happiness.
Wow. That's awesome. So I have two last questions for you before we wrap. What would we be surprised to know about you?
Ooh.
And then the other question is a piece of advice you'd like to leave my listeners with. It could be personal, professional, any advice goes.
Let me think about this. I don't know. Do you have yours on the top of your head? Okay.
There's so many different directions I can go. Like I'm like, my funny one is like, I love organ meats. I love eating liver. Like I will do any weird wellness thing that possibly comes out. Like I'm up for it all the time. Like I love colonics and I love getting ozone therapy. And I
love that. You're into all that stuff. That's so good. I had a colonic this summer and I hadn't had one in like 20 years and I thought it was the old way. And I was like, this is revolutionary. They have advanced colonics.
Wait, I need to know the old way now. I know. I'm like, I need to know this.
The old way was like a plastic tube and they flow the water in until you're like going to die. And then they release it and it's one valve in and out. It's not the machine that's like curved that you sit in and slide into with the water.
I did that one time in New Jersey. So I've never done that out here in California, but when I was at my grandparents' like 2 years ago and I was like unwell over the holidays, I was like, I need a colonic. In New Jersey, it was that form that you like sit in.
I've never heard of that.
The chair?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if it exists out here in California, if someone does it, or if it's more of a New York, New Jersey thing. I don't know. I
just know that I was like, thank God you can fill yourself up and push it out at the same time. I'm good.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Because last time the host slipped.
Right. And that happens too. That's never a good moment.
Luckily, it was at the end of the session. We were okay, but it could have not been okay.
Dangerous. I was nervous to do the chair the very first time. I was like, wait, I just like let go. I was so nervous. I was like freaking out. But it's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the weird of the wellness thing, I'm so intrigued, like constantly.
Love that. What about you, Danielle?
I would say I have a lot of like little quirks and things that I do that seem kind of random and weird, but they make perfect sense. And I'll give you an example. I hate getting a manicure. I absolutely hate having to do anything to my nails. It chips off. I like to do stuff with my hands. I don't like sitting there and not being able to move for an hour. And then I chip it and then I hate it. And that's all I see. And then a week and a half later, which feels like a day and a half in our life, then you have to go back again. So I've always just been like resentful of this, demand on my time because I, obligate myself to do it because we're filming product shots and we're using our hands in our photos and talking about our stuff all the time. So I actually am like a glitter nail polish freak now because it's like the easiest hack. You can just do a little bit of glitter. It looks fine, even if it's chipped, and then you can just paint over it without having to do anything else and you're good to go.
Greatest hack.
I buff them now. I just buff them and then they're shiny and healthy looking and no chipping.
So I've been wanting to commit to, I haven't done it yet, but the Russian manicure style where they do spend a lot of time buffing and cleaning and you have to do a couple sessions, but it gets you to the place of having beautiful, natural nails. And I'm like, I feel like I'm ready for that.
You're ready. It's good. And it saves a lot of time. There's no drying. You just leave.
Like this. I'm like, the wheels are spinning.
So tell me something either one of you has learned that you would, or learned or figured out that you'd love to pass on.
I'll go the skincare route with this one rather than the founder route. I always punished my skin. Like every time I would have a breakout, I thought harsher was better, more intense was better, more acids, hot water, picking, scraping, scrubbing, like every tool I could imagine that would just, I had to get it out. I had to be so mean and aggressive to my skin. And that's quite literally the opposite of what helps with your skin. And it took me taking a breath and getting more intuitive with my skin and loving my skin instead of punishing it. And when that shift happens, because hot water completely damages your skin. No one should ever wash their face in hot water. Just causes constant DNA damage to the skin and doesn't allow your body to heal. Light steam is fine, but again, no hot water. The more picking, and obviously we know we pick and then it's like now the breakout takes a month to recover from versus a few days. And then with using acids or what can be viewed as quote harsh products, we use in our system, it's a physical exfoliant and a chemical exfoliant. Some people will want to do glycolic on top of that and just add acid after acid thinking it'll help. But that's when more damage can be done to the skin. And it's all about the Goldilocks of proper acids, and then healing and loving your skin after, giving it that hydration, giving it that nutrition, with those really amazing non-pore clogging ingredients. And so when I made that shift, my skin transformed when I stopped punishing it.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
I need to take that advice.
We all do these things.
Right.
Even estheticians are like, damn it, I know better. And I still did it.
Yeah.
I've accidentally overdone acids on my skin before. Like I'll do I've done that before. And I'm like, I know better. Like, why did I do that? Like we still always make the mistakes, right? We're human.
Yeah. All right. Something I've learned that this one just got reminded to me yesterday. So it's don't make assumptions. I read the book, The 4 Agreements, a long time ago at the recommendation of a different coach that I had. And that book totally transforms everything. And one of the main things in it, I think one of them was don't take anything personally, but don't make assumptions. And it goes into how often we're making assumptions. And it's usually about why other people are doing or saying what they're doing or saying, and how everyone thinks that they understand why everyone said this or why they did that. And usually we are dead wrong. So that really transformed and removed a lot of stress from my life. And it is very helpful in business too. It's like you think you know what someone meant, especially over email, right? Like so much of this is done over email and text. And you think you know what someone meant to say, or they gave you a partial piece of the information and your mind completed the rest of it. And then you find out a month later that it was dead wrong. And you're just like, whoa. So it's always like, don't make assumptions, go with the information you have and then ask better questions to get the whole picture.
I love that. I think people assume so many things, especially if you're like my former business partner. We were opposite in so many ways. So we don't even speak the same language normally. So then the assumptions were like just magnified. So I love that you said that. There's a code that you guys have generously offered. The code is Superwomen to all you people listening or watching for a nice discount on Clearstem. Thank you for being on today. And it was so nice to meet you. And I want to come hang out with you when I come to San Diego.
Please.
You better.
Or LA.
Please.
I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to today's episode. I also want to ask you to rate and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it actually helps with search and algorithms. So if you love this podcast, it is an easy way to get it more visible and out there. I also want you to follow me on Instagram at Rebecca Minkoff, at RM Superwomen, and be sure to check out my book, Fearless, The New Rules for Unlocking Creativity, Courage, and Success. Thank you again, and you will hear from me next week.